Okay, so basically, I think I had too many windows open, and it caused it to go out. But right now, I am, I am back right now. Yeah, yes. All right, so let's try this again and see how it goes. So, hello, hola Latina, good to see you. Yeah. So basically, I had too many windows open, and I was on the news site, and usually that news site causes a stream problem. I know, Mary. It's the Timu Wi-Fi. Yeah, Timu Wi-Fi, and we know we understand it, and we just move on to the next thing. I know, but when you say the Wi-Fi isn't working, people are going to say stuff. So just so we get it, okay? I don't. Just let's stay on the topic. All right. Mexican tall ship strikes the Brooklyn Bridge and snaps the mast and the two crew members. Anytime I go on the certain news website, it always takes the stream out. It does it every freaking time. All right. Anyway, so I'll just start. I'm gonna start over, and here we go. A Mexican Navy sailing ship on the Global Goodwill Tour struck the Brooklyn Bridge in New York on Saturday, snapping three masts and deleting two crew members and leaving some sailors dangling from the harnesses. Air waiting for help. Hello, Miranda. Glad that you're here. And and shout out to Latine for telling me about this. All right. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said the 142-year-old bridge was spared major damage, but at least 19 people aboard the ship needed medical treatment. Two of the four people who suffered serious injuries later were deleted. Adams announced the social media earlier Sunday. Cause of the collision was under investigation. As I said, it was this news website that I go on. Last time I did it, it messed up the stream. So just to have ads and cookies in it, and it'll cause a problem. Anyway, in the scene captured in multiple eyewitness videos, the ship called the Kutamek could see traveling swiftly in reverse toward the bridge near the Brooklyn side of the East River. Then its three masts struck the bridge span and snapped one by one as the ship kept moving. Video showed heavy traffic on the span at time of 8:20 p.m. collision. No one on the bridge was reported injured. The vessel, which was flying a giant Mexican flag and had 277 people aboard the drift into the pier on the riverbank, on onlookers scrambled away. Hello, DJ. Good to see you. Sailors could be seen afloat on the ridge and the damaged masts, but remarkably, no one fell into the water, officials said. Sydney Needle and Lily Katz told the Associated Press they were sitting outside to watch the sunset when they saw the vessel strike the bridge. Hello, Bob. Good to see you. Welcome. We're talking about the. Hello, Sharon. Good to see you too. And yeah, we're talking about this Mexican naval ship that hit the Brooklyn Bridge yesterday. We saw some dangling, and I couldn't tell if it was just blurry or my eyes. And we're able to zoom in on our phone, and there was someone dangling from the harness. Thank you, Miranda, for listening. Hey, Overtime. Good to see you, my friend, too. Shout out to you, buddy. Our phone, there was someone dangling from the harness from the top for like at least 15 minutes before they were able to rescue them, Kat said. Just before the collision, Nick Corso, 23, took his phone out to capture the backdrop of the ship and bridge against the sunset. Instead, he heard what sounded like loud snapping of big twig. Several more snaps followed. Scared. People in his vicinity began running and pandemonium erupted aboard the ship. He said he later saw a handful of people dangling from a mast. I didn't know what to think. I was like, is this a movie? He said. The Mexican Navy said in a post that social media platform X that the Cool Atomic. Oh, yeah, absolutely is wild. An Academy training vessel, it said a total of 22 people were injured, 19 of whom needed medical treatment. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum regretted the loss of the two crew members. Our solidarity and support go to their families, Sheinbaum said on X. The Brooklyn Bridge, which opened in 1883, has nearly 1,600-foot main span supported the two masonry towers. More than 100,000 vehicles and an estimated 32,000 pedestrians cross every day. According to the city's transportation department, its walkway is a major tourist attraction. Traffic was halted after the collision, but was allowed to resume after the inspection, city's officials said. It was unclear what caused the ship to veer off course. New York Police Department Special Operations Chief Wilson Arambles said the ship had just left Manhattan Pier and was supposed to have been out to sea and toward the bridge. And Overtime said, absolutely, it's like, what's going on lately? Planes crashing, boats crashing too. I know it's like, what's going on here? Is this all this being done on purpose? And hello, Rebecca. Hey, hi, hello to you too. Scared. Yeah, and yeah, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's all this whole world's falling apart over here? What's with that? It is getting wild. This year's, imagine what craziness awaits us this year. Wow. He said in an initial report that was the pilot of the ship had lost power due to a mechanical problem, though officials cautioned that information was primarily video show a tugboat was close to the Potomac at the time of the crash. Aliens are coming soon. I predicted if the Orange Man wins again, aliens gonna show up and invade H.G. Wells style, bro. Yeah, allegedly they're gonna be coming in 2027. They're gonna be coming. So yeah, maybe so. We have to wait and see. Scared. The Kutahammock, about 297 feet long and 40 feet wide, according to the Mexican Navy, sailed for the first time in 1982, and it's 90.5 meters. The vessel's main mast has a height of 160 feet, according to the Mexican government. Which type of aliens? But yeah, I heard that they haven't been sharing plane crashes much till now, but what do I know? Ah, exactly, Miranda. Exactly. I think it's happening more frequently. And also, we're also talking about in this, which I was going to get to next, is about former President Biden being he has cancer, and he says next you're going to tell me it is a president who was in office 5 months ago will get diagnosed with aggressive cancer that most likely was hidden from us while he was in office. Exactly, exactly. I think they hide a lot of stuff from us. They don't tell us the truth about things. That would be another reason why he couldn't run against the Orange Man. Yeah. The creepy gray ones. The tall ones are probably too smart to us, bother us. Yeah. Cornbread aliens. I was going to say a team of aliens. Yeah, so yeah, everyone hit the like button for the humble host. Thank you. Yeah, so the Grays might be coming. Scared. And earlier I had a different windows open, and this website usually causes the stream to go out. So yeah, that's why we had a stream problem. It wasn't necessarily the Wi-Fi. I was doing a lot of stuff on my end, which caused the internet to go out. It was on my end. I had too much stuff open. Shout out to Latina for telling me about this ship crash and Stranded Lifeform 2. And as I said, as Latina would say, when you have too many windows open, it could cause the stream to go out. So, yeah, that was just me being goofy for a second. So, but we're back here now. Now it's water and nukes. Yeah. Scared. Communion is so scary, bro. Oh, I understand about that. I know what you mean. That old movie. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. As midnight approached, the Brooklyn boat was moved slowly up the east, going under the past and Manhattan Bridge, aided by a series of tugboats before docking at a pier. Onlookers continued to gather on the waterfront, to which the speculate. Each year, the each year the ship sets out to the ends of the class in the military school to finish cadets training. This year, they left the Mexican port in Acapulco on the Pacific coast. And on April 6th, the Navy said. Yes, Anna, I'm back. Yeah. Miranda said, my little brother hit 10K views and a viral million on TikTok. For video game play, of course. TBH, anyone can get viral today, just saying it's crazy. And I think that TikTok's algorithm is much different than YouTube's. Because my friend on TikTok doesn't quite understand the YouTube algorithm. Because it's like, yeah, if I was on TikTok, I think it'd be much bigger, quicker. But YouTube algorithm's a little bit different, in my opinion. But yeah, shout out to you and your brother, Miranda. That's great that y'all got all those views. All right. Sharon says, was nothing but lies fed to us. Exactly. How scary the people on the boat makes me feel nervous to travel. Exactly. Exactly. And could there be a situation where a problem occurs and they're trying to get people to be scared? Could they be trying to create a false flag to get people distracted from what's going on? Could it be something with Mexico trying to make an embarrassment of Mexico? And Miranda said, I think too, anyone can get views as long as you can think of something. Exactly. Some of my videos are going viral. I have some of my videos have thousands and thousands of views. Me too. Yeah, and that's happy for Matteo, bro. My bro crazy. Now I got to try, but I want a small community, never as big as I say. Yeah, you want a small community. That's good. And I'm glad here I have a bunch of people that I trust here. And our new member, Bob, who came yesterday on the other stream we're doing. All right. And what I do, Bob, with people that are new, that are cool people, I give them a wrench. So I'll give you a wrench. It was nice meeting you yesterday. Welcome to the crew. Thank you, Anna. It arrived in New York City on May 13, where visitors were welcome for several days. The Mexican consulate said the ship was scheduled to visit 22 ports, 15 nations over 254 days, 170 of them at sea. Yes, Miranda, I always loved The Pirate Wife. Me too. Yeah, that's for me. Associated Press writers Michael R. Sisak and Jennifer Pelds of New York Sigil Govindario Dario in Phoenix, Arizona, and Gene Johnson in Seattle, Washington contributed to this report. That's it for this one. Now we'll talk about Biden's cancer. And I'll give you all the New Orleans update. Scared. This ship is crazy. I mean, for this to happen on the ship, I think is completely insane. I think that it could have been avoided, and as Overtime said, it could be the pilots, it could be anything. I mean, yeah, the one on the boat crash, yeah, hilarious. I mean, a bunch of morons. I mean, we got to get to the bottom of this. And remember, chat, there's Latina and I speculated that there could be foul play in this. Timu terrible. Yes. All right. So it's like you had a Timu pilot on the Timu ship. But as more details come out, we'll talk about it. All right. Now, former President Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis. What does Gleason's score of 9 mean? Former President Joe Biden is battling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. His official announced on Sunday, adding the condition is characterized by Gleason score of 9. His official also said Biden diagnosis includes metastasis to the bone. Yeah, Sharon said maybe they try to hijack it but couldn't pilot it. Yeah, that's possible too. That's possible too. Scared. Biden's cancer diagnosis comes after a small noodle was found in the former president's prostate after a routine physical exam on Tuesday. The discovery of the noodle necessitates further evaluation, his spokesperson said at the time. Or they're using Timu Autopilot. Timu Autopilot, don't get me started with that. That'll cause you to have the worst experience. Scared. Something I forgot to do was show you all pictures of this thing. Of the... Let's see. This is the ship in question right here. Nice pirate ship. Nice pirate ship right there. But that's the thing that was breaking. I'll see about showing you all a video after I read this other thing. I forgot to show you all before. Before I start the other thing. Hello, Cecil. Good to see you. In February 2023, while the now 82-year-old former president was serving in the White House, Biden had a lesion removed from his chest that was cancerous, according to the former White House physician. Additionally, before entering the office, Biden had several non-melanoma skin cancers removed from MOH surgery. I love those giant brigs. Nice boat. Yeah, it's a beautiful ship. Beautiful ship. As the world reacted to Biden's medical news, ABC News has broken down what his condition means and what possible treatment can be done. All right, here we go. Been on boats, but never a sailboat. A rainy night sipping tea. Nice. Yeah, correct, Sharon. Yeah. Prostate cancer is a type of cancer that forms in tissues of the prostate and the small gland in men's prostate that produces semen, according to the National Institute of the NIH. Former President Biden, Joe Biden. It is the most common cancer and the second leading cause of cancer deletion among men in the U.S., according to the Federal Health Agency. The NIH reports an estimated 313,780 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed this year, representing over 1,500 of the all cancer cases. I know over time, yeah, yeah. Scared. News is getting desperate. Hello, Greg. We're just hanging out and talking about some stuff in the news. Biden's American's grandpa. Yeah, right on. An estimated 35,770 deletions from prostate cancer occurred this year, representing 5.8% of cancer deaths, according to the agencies. Hilarious, Anna. I understand how you feel, Anna. I understand. You heard about Sloppy Joe, yeah. Yeah, Stranded told me about it earlier. Prostate cancer has a 5-year relative survival rate, meaning that the percentage of people alive 5 years ago after diagnosis is roughly 98%. Karma, yeah, and I don't know. It could be. I mean, I personally wouldn't wish it on anybody, and it's unfortunate that this happened to him. But yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't. I'm not the one to make those decisions, but as I said, they do say what goes around comes around. But as I said, hopefully, it's an unfortunate situation, and prayers for him and his family. But I understand how you feel, Anna. I know how you feel. Your brother told you. All right. Generally, prostate cancer usually grows very slowly, and finding and treating it before symptoms occur may not improve men's health or help them in the long to live longer. However, it is generally a more treatable type of cancer even when it's spread further. Roughly 12.9% of men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer at some point in their lifetime. You think he has many issues. He has more than one issue, that's for certain. For prostate cancer, at some point in their life, according to the NIH, in 2022, there were an estimated of 3.5 million men living with prostate cancer in the United States. The median age of prostate cancer diagnosis is 68 years old, according to the agency, while the median age of prostate cancer deletion is 79. Understood, Anna. But Anna, I'm on some shows that are political, and I've been a guest on different political podcasts. I don't mind it though, but I understand your position that we need to go back to the other topic. Yeah. And Greg said, I just made a video making fun of him. I'm not too hard on Joe because he's so small and frail. Okay, Greg. You cut him some slack. Scared. While the agency reports rates of new prostate, I did make fun of a video making fun of Biden. Greg did. I'm not making fun of him. I'm saying that it's unfortunate that it happened to him, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. I don't wish cancer on anybody or any, person to go through this around my worst enemy, and hopefully he gets the care he needs. Although I don't agree with things he might say sometimes, but I don't wish this on anybody. Right. But, okay, anyway, while the agency reports rates for new prostate cancer cases have been rising an average 1.8 each year over 2013 to 2022, death rates have been falling on the average 0.6% each year over between 2014 and 2023. Scared. And Jamie, it's great to see you. Glad to have you here in chat. All right. What is Gleason source? Gleason grading system or Gleason score. Yes, Liberty. Yes, Liberty. Yes, I believe that's a possibility. Yes. The Gleason. Also, want to tell you something, Liberty. Is that basically the website that I was on has a lot of cookies and stuff in it, and it caused the stream to go out. And I had a lot of windows open, so it was something on my computer on my end. I had too much stuff open, and I caused the Wi-Fi to go out. But now it's back for the moment. All right. Me either, alien. No ill will as far as cancer goes. All right. The person that lived in this house before I did had cancer, and he believed he was on a religious mission or some sort of sacrificial mission is to get spiritually close to God. And you know what? And I was close to him when I was a kid growing up. And hey, this house was used to all the live streaming that I did, and I reached the whole world. So, shout out to him. His dream came true in a way. But yeah, I had my great grandfather died of cancer. Also, he'll probably pass away before his family goes down it entirely for corruption. Ah, okay. Yeah. The Gleason grading system, or Gleason score, refers to how likely the cancer is to advance the spread, but does not predict the outcome. Yeah, now I'm on podcasts that are I'm on shows that are political now, but here on this channel, there are people of different religions, and different politics. But nothing wrong. If you want to talk about it in the chat, I don't mind if y'all do it. Just be civilized and respect each other. And but you could have any kind of discussions y'all want. Just be, you know, at the end of the day, we're all aliens in the spaceship. And anybody can be wrong or right and be open to what everybody has to say. Yeah. But anyway. We got the legend himself, Duke Raoul. He's smiling in here. Shout out to the chickens. Shout out to George. Shout out to all the farm animals. Cecil says, cancer is no one's friend. It doesn't care who you are or what you do. Exactly. And there's conspiracy theories that they have the cure for cancer, but the medical industry is so profitable. Now, this is from medical people that I've known that are nurses and stuff, that they believe that they do have the cure for it, but they don't want people to know about it because of it would not be as lucrative. But as I said, conspiracy theory, I don't know if it's true or not. A lot of conspiracy theories might be false. There are chickens in the spaceship. There's also Temu chickens, too. Oh, yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Not yesterday, but the other night I was live. So, yeah, Comey said a statement towards the president of 8647 about deleting the president. Yeah. And if y'all may not like the Orange Man or not, I don't wish, death on anybody. Deletion on anybody. And also, I'm up for a religious debates or political debates. Like, if anyone wants to challenge me about something, I'm ready. I've learned from the best. But at the end of the day, though, we're all aliens in the spaceship. I don't want it to cause too much of a divide, but I don't mind y'all talking about anything y'all want in chat. Just, at the end of the day, don't let it tear y'all apart like a civil war. Yes, I remember, like, Peach. Shout out to Peach. She was telling me about how with ivermectin, it helps, she said. And she's a nurse. She told me it helps. But they don't... I read what the people say, like the health authority of the planet was saying that they don't know for certain if it works or not, but they're not going and testing it out to see if it works. Well, Jamie, I don't know about the Americans he is deleting. I wasn't aware about that. And also, just a president, if we agree with him or not, I don't think we should wish deletion on people. And I do think that the media can sometimes make things look like what they're not. But even if he was doing something like that, I think there's a legal way to get him out of office if that is how it works. He could be impeached. And in America, we have, trials, and there's a fair trial before we accuse people of things. And stuff like that. So, I don't think anybody should be deleted. Right. Alright, good night, Jamie. And continuing. It's a way of describing prostate cancer based on how abnormal the cancer cells in the biopsy sample look under a microscope and how quickly they are likely to grow and spread according to the NIH. And also, Liberty says, I think they give us health problems through vax. I think that's possible too, absolutely. Now, Jamie, you don't think so? As I said, I don't know for certain if there's health problems through the vax or not. I don't know. But allegedly, some people think that it does. But I don't know for certain. If you think that it doesn't, you could say why it doesn't. And if Liberty thinks it does, she could say why it does. But anyway. I think I've never had any health problems from vaccines, personally. But some people claim that it causes problems. And I'm open to see what people have to say because I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know either way. The Gleason score is calculated by adding together two grades of cancer cells that make up the largest areas of the biopsed tissue samples, the NIH said. All right, Sharon and Liberty, thank you for information. The grading system usually ranges from 6 to 10. Biden's diagnosis of a Gleason score of 9 indicates his cancer is aggressive. A score of 9 indicates that the cancer cells look very different from normal prostate cells and are likely to grow and spread rapidly. This places in cancer grade group 5. I do believe in vaccines, though. I don't mind people. I think vaccines like, chicken pox and stuff, like, I took vaccines and I'm fine. So I'm not anti-vaccine, but as I said, I'm not denying it. There could be something shady about them that I'm not aware of. I'm like kind of neutral about it. Liberty says, research, I'm anti-vax. That's all I have to say. I'll keep the peace. But as I said, y'all can have a discussion about it. Just be civilized. That's all. If it gets out of hand, I'll referee it. And Cecil says, that is just like so many medicines. The potential side effects are endless. That is true. There are side effects to vaccines, definitely. That is true. I believe that it says that on there usually. Sharon said, even pediatricians warn it could cause harm to babies. Okay. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Yes, Liberty. That's true. I think that people of the world, the companies and the people of the world should focus on helping the people and not causing division and problems that may be causing. So I believe there's a lot of division, and I believe the media is a powerful tool that sometimes I think they always could paint a picture a certain way. We could agree on that. On both sides can agree that, the media is very good at showing us what they want us to see. So maybe somebody is bad or somebody is doing something wrong, and they show us that, and it's good. At the same time, I think it's good to take things with a grain of salt and be open to different positions that may contradict ours. Because there's a lot of emotion. You get, you mentioned the orange man or something. There's a lot of emotion. It's an emotional trigger. Or say with Danny when he talk about the Muslims. It's an emotional trigger. So I think that if we could view things less emotionally, maybe we could see what the truth might be. And as I said, at the end of the day, we're all aliens, and we're not going to let the politics divide us because that's what they want. Say England and France fought a war, but in the end, one group really, I think, really won. Say like in the end of the day, the people that profit off the wars really win. So I do think that at the end of the day, we're all aliens, but nothing wrong with us having a discussion about it. And actually, I would invite people I challenge to chat to not leave if somebody says something that triggers someone in these type of things, to try to see what the other person is saying to give themselves more confirmation in their position, or maybe they could refute them. So that is, my position on the matter, that I could be open to change. All right. The highest risk category associated with the greater likelihood of metastasis and more challenging prognosis, yet despite the cancer's apparent aggressiveness, its hormone-sensitive nature offers a valuable treatment pathway. Scared. Possible treatment options. While Biden's official treatment plan remains to be announced, possible options for the former president to include hormone therapy or androgen deprivation therapy, ADT, which can reduce levels of male hormones that can fuel prostate cancer's growth. Thank you, Liberty. Leave egos out of finding truth. And I do not wish Kamala or anybody or Kamala or Trump or anybody on either political spectrum to be assassinated, or anybody. No, it could be, you know, I don't wish that on anybody. This approach can effectively show disease progression and manage symptoms even in advanced stages, where the cancer has spread to the bones. Regular monitoring prostate specific antigen leaves levels is crucial, as rising PSA levels can indicate cancer activity and help assess treatment effectiveness. Surgery is typically not an option in cases like Biden's when the disease has spread to the bones and is not confined to the prostate. Following the former president's diagnosis, the American Cancer Society released a statement saying, "This news is a reminder about the tragic impact of prostate cancer in the U.S. Early detection is key in our concern given the 5% year over year increase in diagnosis of men more advanced disease. We can and must do more to prevent late stage diagnosis and deletion from prostate cancer," to the ACS said. All right. That's the difference between the Greg said that the Trump and the Biden supporters, we don't wish bad stuff upon opponents. Okay, Greg understood. Michael says if it has a metastasized on his bone marrow, then he is looking at a radiation and then bone marrow transplant or a stem cell transplant. All right. And Cecil says when cancer gets into the bloodstream, they spread. They tend to be everywhere. Oh yeah, the cancer he has would certainly spread everywhere. That's certainly what it would do. And Michael says, all right, hormone therapy is not going to cure anyone that has this condition. All right. Former laboratory manager, a physician oncology practice. Okay. Sharon said, I thought Biden was having checkups, so they caught it early. Right. Right. They they caught it. Yeah, I don't know when they caught it, Sharon. Maybe they knew about it before, then they recently just told us now. I don't know. Yeah. And let's see. I'm going to also Liberty tonight. I'm going to talk about the those lizard aliens, more about them for you. I'm going to talk again about the ship attack, the ship thing not working. All right. Most likely caught before and kept it secret. Several oncologists visited the White House. Okay, thank you, Matt. And Cecil says if cancer metastasizes to the brain, if surgery is not possible, then drugs like chemo cannot get past the blood brain barrier. That is what happened to. All right, understood. All right. So let's talk about this ship thing another time because I missed to tell Liberty a part about it. She missed a part of it. So we're just gonna go back and all right, let's go here. See, so that's what I want to know. I don't know either. I don't know why that the captain would do that. I don't know. Sailors could be seen afloat in the rigging on the damaged masts, but remarkably, no one fell into the water. Official said. They sailed it over there. So, from what I can see, is that they were sailing the ship backwards and it went into that area. No, now Bill says they were sailing the ship backwards, but and so they were bringing the ship over because they usually go through that area, that harbor, and then they went and crashed it. So maybe the captain was paid off. Hello, True Crime. Good to see you. Sailors could be seen afloat in the rigging on the damaged masts, but remarkably, no one fell into the water, official said. Sydney Needle and Lily Katz told the Associated Press they were sitting outside to watch the sunset when they saw the vessel strike the bridge. We saw someone dangling, and I couldn't tell if it was just blurry on my eyes, and were able to zoom in on our phone, and there was someone dangling from the harness from the top, like at least like 15 minutes before they were able to rescue them, Kat said. Just before the collision, Nick Corso, 23, took his phone out of out to capture the backdrop of the ship and the bridge against the sunset. Instead, he heard what sounded like a loud snapping of a big twig. Several more snaps followed. People in his vicinity began running and pandemonium erupted aboard the ship. He later saw a handful of people dangling from a mast. I didn't know what to think. I was like, this a movie, he said. The Mexican Navy ship in the post on social media on X, Kotomic was an academy trained vessel. It said total of 22 people were injured, 19 of whom needed medical treatment. Drug cartel types have no remorse because of sociopath and psychopathology. Hello, Liza Jean. Good to see you. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum regretted the loss of the crew members out of solidarity and support of their families, Sheinbaum said on X. The Brooklyn Bridge, which opened in 1883, has nearly 1,600-foot, 490-meter main span supported by two masonry towers, more than 100,000 vehicles, an estimated 32,000 pedestrians cross every day. According to the city's transportation department, its walkway is a major tourist attraction. We are living in weird times, absolutely. Traffic was halted after the collision, but was allowed to resume after an inspection, city officials said. It was unclear what caused the ship to veer off course. New York Police Department Special Operations Chief Wilson Ambrose said the ship had just left a Manhattan pier and was supposed to have been headed out to sea, not toward the bridge. Miranda, I will address that in a moment about Allen. All right, so continue with the article. He said in the initial report was the ship had lost power due to mechanical problem, though officials cautioned the information was primarily videos show a tugboat was close to the Kutaamik at the time of the crash. The Kutaamik, about 297 feet long and 40 feet wide, meters long, according to Mexican Navy, sailed for the first time in 1982. The vessel's main mast has a height of 160 feet, according to the Mexican government. A midnight approach of the broken boat was moved slowly East River, going under the past Manhattan Bridge, aided by a series of tugboats before docking at a pier. Onlookers continued to gather on the waterfront in which the spectacle. Each year, the Kutaamik sets at the end of the classes of the Naval Military School to finish the candidates' training this year. The Mexican port Apalacio, Pacific coast, on April 6th, the Navy said. All right, Greg, see you in a little bit. Associated Press writers Michael R. Sisak and Jennifer Pelds in New York, Seattle in Phoenix, Arizona, and Gene Johnson in Seattle, Washington contributed this report. All right. That is about the ship. Okay. Yes, and basically, and regarding about the political discussion earlier, we were not really having a political discussion. We're just talking about some news, and basically, Jamie was triggered because even Obama and Biden and Kamala condemned the assassination of the Orange Man. So it's something about, the across the political spectrum. So, and usually, as I said, politically neutral, and that is the situation. All right. All right, so about Allen. All right. So basically, there's a situation that occurred where, and Miranda, I mentioned this when you were watching one time, and maybe you forgot, didn't hear. And after we talk about this, I'll get to the lizard alien topic. So there's an incident when a troll was kind of saying stuff about my looks, again, my amazing looks, and basically, and what I said was, oh, the troll is jealous of my movie star looks. And when I say that, and people, as I said, have their own preferences and stuff, I don't, I'm just saying that to be dramatic. And also, Alan always gives me great compliments. And by the way, everybody, he's gay. Nothing wrong with that. And always gives me compliments about my looks and stuff. And I appreciate him for that, and always builds me up. Now, this one incident that occurred was that he was saying that I am cute, but not movie star cute. Now, it's kind of funny in a way. And he didn't clarify his intentions, but I took it as him siding with the troll against me, and I don't know if he was having a bad day or something. And I felt, in my opinion, the look stuff, I don't mind people don't like my looks or not. As I said, he always gives me great compliments. He even said I'm beautiful at one time. So him saying that I'm cute but not movie star cute, I took it as a way of trolling and siding with the troll. So I I don't mind bringing him back to the channel, but at the moment he is not allowed here at the moment. No, after that situation. So at that moment, he was going against me and seems like he was siding with the troll in that moment and saying I'm cute but not movie star cute. I didn't like that. I took it as a sign of trolling. It doesn't mind if he was not as into. I'm not even gay. I don't care what people think, like looks or not. I just took it as a sign that he was troll, like being on the side of the troll, and he didn't clarify that he wasn't trolling me. And I don't think he would intentionally troll me. I don't know, misunderstanding on my end or someone else's end, having a bad day. So at the moment, he's not at the channel. So I just, as I said, and people have their own preferences. There's many attractive people out there. Okay, thanks, Miranda. And as I said, maybe he's upset that he can't have me because I'm not gay. But as I said, he's in the past said I'm beautiful. He said always calls me cute. And I say he was more of consistent with me, and I'd say better than some girlfriends that I've had. So he was always nice to me. So as I said, he may have some personal problems. I don't know. But as I said, for now, he's not allowed here. All right. He's exactly sound like a hater. And look, people have their own preferences. Some people might like other people more than me. I don't mind that. I'm not even gay. And there's many attractive guys besides me out there. Many people have their own preferences and stuff. But as I said, I just don't want me or you being trolled. Any of you in the chat being trolled. Alien, you're a wonderful guy and you're my brother in Christ. Alan has trolling issue and don't really feel sorry for it. It's okay. He's a heavy drinker and also flirted with a straight guy. Right. Okay. Thank you, chat. The reason I agree, boundaries are superior important and you make much sense. It's okay. Understood. Thank you, Alien. Okay. All right. By the way, I have women in my life who try to turn me gay. It never worked. We all respect everyone's sex and sexuality as adults here. Yes, yes. And also, oh, hello, Five Cats. Good to see you. Thanks. I am not gay, but as Christians, we're okay and love gay people, but it's okay to force someone to bully someone. Exactly. And I made jokes to myself. I'm not slandering anybody. And he never threatened me. But I made jokes to myself that although I'm straight, it kind of reminds me the situation where the Andrew Cunanan was trying to take out Versace because he couldn't have him or something. The fashion designer, and Andrew Cunanan was this serial deleter that deleted, men. I'm not comparing Alan to that. I made a joke to myself because, I'm like a famous YouTuber and stuff. And this person's like triggered at me that can't have me, and it was just kind of like a joke. And also, as I said, my humor, and Alan never threatened me. I'm not saying he's a deleter, to delete anybody or stalk anybody. No, I'm not saying that. It was just my dark humor. And it's your channel. You can block whoever you want for whatever reason. All right. You read a book about him. Yeah. I saw the series when it came out in 2018. And Miranda said, my poor friends wanted to turn me so bad. They said, I wish they respected like I did their sexuality. Thank you, Sharon. And, yeah, so that's what happened. And basically, and with Jamie, the situation with Jamie, shout out to Jamie, that left the chat earlier. I don't know if she's still lurking or not. But usually she's a good chat friend. I don't get political. And I was not being political. All I was saying was I don't believe anybody should be assassinated. A communist or anybody. All right? Anybody. Or the left, the right, no one should be assassinated. Oh, hello, Anunnaki. It's great to see you, buddy. A lot of people we think are friends are trolling us in real life. Amen. Overtime. Thank you. Thank you. And in the situation with Jamie, I wasn't even saying I like Trump. or not. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying no one should be assassinated. Like, there's legal ways to deal with things. Now, some situations, like in some foreign countries, maybe they have to have revolutions and stuff, but I don't. Here, we have it different. And Miranda, that's unfortunate that happened to you. And also, Miranda, you understand with me, I didn't mind. Exactly, Liberty. Exactly. Yeah, and I didn't mind talking to Alan and playing along with it. I didn't mind that at all because people could be gay if they want to, and I don't mind doing something to as a joke or make the chat laugh or something. Like I'm not affected if people are gay or straight. And Miranda, you see that, that like I am like basically fearless, and I just talk to all kinds of different people, and I just with Alan or whoever, I just go with the flow. So, but basically, I have my boundaries, and I don't like being trolled. All right, I don't like being trolled. So insulting me and my looks is not going to fly. There's the front door, and the back door, and the Temu door. Like, although there's Eugene in the chat, shout out to Eugene. The overtime we know from Timbaland, there's a lot of Eugenes in the world. There's a lot of cringe people. Like what Timbaland talks about on his streams. Miranda says, I love it when people keep their views private. We were in early 2000s. Everyone was more private in my eyes. Absolutely. 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 I know in these times, everything's going nuts. And I didn't have to bring up the Biden topic, but I'm not even being political. I'm just reporting about him having cancer. Yeah. It is scary. Don't be racist against aliens. We just watch and will never help from your own demise. Remember that, humans. Hello, JS. Good to see you, buddy. Shout out to JS Urban Adventures. He's another streamer, a YouTuber, and he has a cool content. Yeah, now shout out to you, JS. It's been a long time since I've seen you here. Long time. And also about my channel, another thing about it, I don't mind liberals or conservatives being here. I think both can be here. And I want both here. I just, as I said, people have a right to their opinion, whatever it is. So I don't want it to be like just a conservative or a liberal channel. I want everybody to be able to talk and be able to have their own time here. And JS, buddy, I hope that you're doing well. JS Urban Adventures. As I said, shout out to him. He has a cool channel. And I recommend watching. Also, Gam Catches Up is another channel I recommend as well. So so that is what we're talking about. So JS, hope you've been doing good, man, and you make great content. I like watching your your streams and stuff. Thank you for being here. Right. So I like to discuss and learn, Liberty says. Well, we'll talk about this whistleblower stuff with the okay, Liberty. Now I want to talk about the lizard aliens. All right. You built your first PC. That is awesome. That is awesome. Shout out to you. Shout out to you with building your PC. My buddy Adam from school likes doing that. And I just, because of YouTube, I've not focused on building that. But it's still great to build. And that's awesome that you did that, man. I'm sure that it's awesome. Yeah, these earthlings. Scared. All right, reptilians. Here we go. All right, JS. Thank you. Understood. All right. All three types of reptilian alien species on Earth are originally from the Draco constellation of the star system. Here is what the three types. Originally from the Thubion star system, aka Alpha Draconis, approximately 30 light years from Earth. This is a single star system. This species is the oldest and the most influential reptilian species of the three. They have a neck that is almost a foot long, small ears, large pupils that are oval shaped. They have a snout like a small dinosaur with two breathing holes for a nose and a long, wide mouth. The skin on the front of their neck is loose like an iguana, and their spine area is raised, ridged on the scaled skin that follows the spine. They are cold blooded, they eat meat as well as consume blood and the other bodily fluids from the mammals. They can detect fear, and when they do, pleasure endorphins are released within their brain. Basically, fear turns them on. I haven't seen lizards for a long time. And Gilgamesh was a young warrior when we whooped out their Eoses during the Yuhai was. Scared. Exactly, Liberty. Type B. Originally from the Alcaris star system, the aka Mu Draconis, approximately 89 light years from Earth. This is a multi star system. This species has a wrinkled forehead and very sharp and angled ears that are set off their scalp about half an inch. Their neck is approximately 6 to 8 inches long and have loose skin around not only their neck but also their upper chest. They have large oval and yet vertical pupils. Their skin appears to be more bumpy than scaled, yet still scaled. Their mouth is huge. It looks like two clamshells opposite of each other. This species is cold blooded and they consume meat and plant based foods. Right on, Liberty. Originally from the Chi Draconis star system, approximately 26 light years away from Earth, this is binary star system. This species of reptilian look and are shaped like Homo sapiens, but with a snake-like skin that has chameleon abilities to look like regular humans of any pigmentation as defense mechanisms. However, they have a flatter looking nose close to the face with two oval openings for the nostrils. Their lips are no different from the rest of their skin, with an average size mouth of what you would see on a human. Their eyes are slightly larger than ours, but with a thin vertical pupils resembling cat eyes. They are cold blooded. This reptilian species, instead of giving live birth the way the first two do, they have an egg inside their body that hatches inside the female mother's womb, and then they give birth to what came out of this species and eats meat, plant based foods, and blood from certain mammals. Yeah, shapeshifters. Hello, Shecky. Good to see you, buddy. All three types of reptilians range in height from between 5 feet to 6 1.5 inches. feet tall. However, Type A have genetically created a flying reptile similar to what we imagine a dragon looks like to fight for them, but it does not breathe fire and is not as large. I do not recall exactly how big this creature is, but I do know they are large enough to be ridden. Reptilians have had a presence on Earth for millions of years, ever since their female warriors overthrow the Alpha Draconis kings and took over the power, replacing them as queens. The city of Atlantis was a reptilian city that had cloned humans as slaves and extraterrestrial humanoids such as Nordics and tall whites living amongst them there. After too close to pass of the planet Nibiru approximately 1300 years ago caused to known of the Great Flood. When the poles shifted due to its massive gravitational pull, the continent in which the city of Atlantis resided became frozen over and now is Antarctica. The city has been accessed since then. It is still a bustling technologically advanced city. The reptilians have the second largest base, also in Antarctica, which is subterranean, and houses of the Nazi Fourth Reich. It is a German intelligence unit in their fleet of alien reproduction vehicles known as virile discs. All right. Anunnaki says, "How the hell did they know how tall the lizards are? Did they measure them with measured them?" Yes, Anunnaki allegedly. This is a whistleblower that put this up on Twitter, on X. And this person's in jail right now for doing it. And these were allegedly leaked files from the government. So they measured them and all. But it may not be true. It could be fake, but this is allegedly leaked documents. All right. Let's look at this. Let's see a different alien species, allegedly. Okay. Liberty, she might be part. I'll explain about how humans are related to it. Okay, so now we're going to show you all the different alien species, allegedly. Allegedly, these are alien. Okay, we're going to should go move this window over here. Four alien and shout out to Moki for sending me this information. All right, four alien species Congress was briefed about. The Mantids, Greys, and Nordics. All right, and I would believe the account of Utah Hagel over top secret government crap. At least those texts addressed the lizard gods were. Absolutely, absolutely. Zarn, Aternus, Alter, Usines were imagined by Sid and Marty Koof. All right. Now, I will say, Sheki, that there are hieroglyphics and depictions of gray looking aliens from a long time ago, from all the way back, from the Greys. I believe those exist. And there's like the different gods and stuff that came resemble them, in my opinion. Liberty says the bottom right looks like the man in a costume to you. Oh yeah, it does. Absolutely. That's the reptilians. Eugene, it's demonic deception. That's true, but that's the form they come in. So the disguise that they see of them being the insects or the greys, or if they see them as the reptilian aliens, that's true, but they're really actually fallen angels. So that's their disguise. Yes, we agree that they're fallen angels, they're demons, but they're pretending to be those beings at the same time. So it's but they're actually from the fallen ones. That's true. The bottom two aren't scary. You know, the grays and the lizard, the insect thing's crazy. Yeah. Anunnaki says, you know, the Anunnaki gods called the lizard gods. You seem to know about lizard kids. What do we call them? Anyone? And all right, Checky. Thanks for the information. Yeah, the insect kind is cringe. It's like a giant roach. Okay. We may look the scariest of all of them. Another perspective. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hilarious Liberty. Yeah. I know it looks like a manatee, but an insects look like roaches. Like they have antennas like roaches. I know what they are. I know the mantises, but they also have characteristics of roaches, in my opinion. You'd spray his EOS with a giant can of Raid. Yeah, that's cool, Liberty. That's cool. Get a giant roach motel, Hotel California. Moki said he's in jail. That's what Moki told me. All right. Let's see. We look at some. Let's look at some more stuff from this. All right. I'll show you some more articles from this group. Y'all gonna think this is interesting. All right. Let's see. Exactly, Anunnaki, exactly. Miranda said Anunnaki is clearly mentioned in King James Bible as far as I read, unless I'm mistaken. Old Testament. Yeah, I believe so. Let's see. They mention historical events in the Bible. I think what she means. But like they mentioned about Xerxes and the 300 Spartans and stuff. So maybe she was saying she saw something in the Bible that spoke about historical accounts of that time period in that region. All right, Five Cats. Thanks for the link. And Anunnaki says KJV was written in Old English. Anunnaki is freaking 650,000-year-old Samaritan pictographic word. Actually, sentence name is Wi-Fi. The Chinese snake farms. Scared. Anunnaki says that is the name of the word. It is freaking Sumerian. Alright. And no, it doesn't mean that a lying SOB Zechariah claimed it meant. Anunnaki is a tribe related to the Bible, angels, and Old Testament. Anunnaki, tell us what it means. Tell us more about it. I don't think I've seen that before, Liberty, but that's an interesting channel to check out. All right. Wrong one. I have to go back here. All right. Anunnaki says, nope, Miranda, it's Sumerian sentence, and stop lying, please, and trying to force your religious claims. Liberty says, well, he's got a lot of knowledge on that channel and a temper problem. He blocked me. Well, Liberty, as I said, people with tempers, I mean, people got to chill out. Okay, Anunnaki. Understood. Well, I'm going to read the whole thing you're saying, but I see you tell me something tomorrow. All right. Liberty says, well, he's got a lot of knowledge on that channel and a temper problem. He blocked me. Oh, well. It's unfortunate about that. And hopefully, he calms down. Anunnaki says, "I will tell you." Oh, you'll tell me now. I thought you said you were gonna tell me tomorrow. I'm being a Timu alien. Okay, I'll tell you now. It goes like this: Anunnaki, spelled Sumerian, Heya Naki, means exactly the 50 craters of Earth. Our 50 craters of Earth. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Anunnaki, how is the God of the Bible a demon? I'd like to know more. Alright. Project Crystal Knight. Alright. Called Project Crystal Knight, called the Project Serpo by this is when they sent people so Liberty, this is when they sent a some people to a former planet. They sent people to another planet, to Serpo, where they had these things called the Gray Aliens. You know the Gray Aliens. There's this other group of aliens that were related to them, and also this is a little story about it. We've talked about it before. I don't know if you were here or not, Liberty. Do you remember me talking about Serpo? I'll go to another thing if we've talked about this with you before, but I don't know if I. And also, so I'll tell you about this. And let's see. And each supplemental USAF file entry increase the last three digits by one of every entry is and why is they added a third digit to the anticipation of additions ranging from hundreds. On on the left will be each individual's. I'll get back to chat in a moment. It looks spicy. Y'all just do your thing. Y'all have fun. On the left will be each individual's three-digit identity code, then their actual identities, followed by their responsibility position on the mission, along with whether they returned from their mission or not. Here it goes. James E. McKever, team commander, returned. Daniel R. Shebum, assistant commander, returned. Carson C. Robati, team pilot 1, returned. Carl S. Zune, team pilot 2, listed him dying pulmonary embolism while existing his proactive containment area. They traveled through the wormhole, but USAF SOC lists him as returning and insisted list as being 475th. This happened to 420 Kathy B. Arbricus returned. Thomas L. Orts returned. Benji Janorsko, biologist, decided to stay on planet Serpo, did not return. Michael T. Mastron, scientist, returned. Kenneth L. Deheneth, scientist, Serpo, did not return. Amos Van Scotten, doctor, returned. Ronald X. Lormowski says he deleted of several causes of pneumonia while he was on the planet Serpo, but USAF SOC says it was actually 633. testimony died of accidental fall while on Planet Serpo. Out of close to 1,000 candidates, it was narrowed down to 158, and these are the 12 best that were selected from that main training facility. For those 12 was Camp Prairie, Virginia, next to New York River near Williamsburg. This is a CIA training facility nicknamed the Farm, with the official name being Armed Forces Experimental Training Activity Center. They were given their own training facility located within the larger complex itself. They were also trained at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas, Ellsworth Air Force Base close to Rapid City, South Dakota, and Down Air Force Base in Bangor, Maine. Then they also received high altitude astronauts training at the Tidal Air Force Base near the Panama City, Florida. They also received specialized training in 2 or 3 locations outside the country. All training was under the heavy guard. When not being trained, the team member were held Leavenworth Military Prison. You're a trooper, Miranda. A lioness for Christ. Thank you. The mission was scheduled to 10 years, but due to approximately 19 months of round-trip space travel, including within the wormhole, along with time differential, the mission turned out to be 13 years, 1 month, and 2 days, departing from the Nevada test site on July 16th of 1965, returning the same site April 18th, 1978, 2 years debriefing by DIA, which assistance from USAF, SOC, CIA, and NORO until their final report was compiled in 1980. Then fourth debriefings from 1980 to 1984, specifically by CIA and USAF, SOC by order of MJ12. All right, let's look at the spicy chat. Other planets are levels of hell. That's possible. And Anunnaki, I have no problem with you. You are entitled to your belief, and you have a right to believe what you want to. And I'm going to read what y'all are saying, and as I said, this discussion I think is healthy, and both sides are having a good, conversation. But I'm going to read through it, but all right, so interesting conversation between both of you. Now we're going to go right into this debate. All right, Anunnaki, the temple artifacts and archaeological artifacts don't suggest Jesus proves his existence in Jerusalem. Anunnaki says, so old, they speak of flood and how Zeus Udra saved humanity by simply heeding Aniki's advices. Seems like your Bible stole from prior records in the accounts, Miranda. Jesus is real. He is Lord and the Savior, yes, but most have no clue who he really is. Anunnaki says, but did archaeology even prove that was the story? Wasn't there records held in the story? And the Noah's Ark exists, and they have Jesus DNA. At least you can say he's real. Miranda, it's been proven your Bible God is a lizard god, so stop trying to claim my gods and goddesses are demons or fallen angels. You have zero knowledge of them. I know them personally, so I know them personally, but Anunnaki says and say the Jews are wrong partially about the New Testament, and is God isn't holding his word to me. Miranda, people like you are dangerous to societies because you all make false claims and things you have zero knowledge of, And it's also dangerous to have censorship of other people that have an opinion, and both people could be dangerous hypothetically. You can't even read or understand cuneiform, so that alone proves your claims. Mine history is a lie. All right, Anunnaki, God is Jesus, period. But Satan and his angels have deceived many. They've come to blind people in their land, and I am not deceived. There is nothing extra and to add to the King James Version Bible. Hallelujah. Amen. And Miranda says, Anunnaki, if Jesus is Lord, he will not lie and preserve his word. Many have been deceived. That is true, in my opinion. And, I mean, amen. Two or more gather, there he is. And Anunnaki says, all right, you can believe whatever you want, just don't make false claims about my faith and history. Maybe the only in the world that is not kneeling to a man named Pope Gregory the 14th. And also, Anunnaki, people are entitled to have their opinion. Because you say in your country that you came from that they kicked you out of, that they're censoring you because of what you believed. So even if Miranda's wrong, she's entitled to her beliefs. This is what we think here. And also, Anunnaki, you always give great insight, and you know everything about the topics, where you came from, about your culture. I understand it could be upsetting about how people misinterpreting your faith, but as I said, people, we think that, and we could be wrong, Anunnaki, and it's okay for you to talk to us about this, and you could, say your piece about it. That, we think that some of these aliens, fallen angels, are connected, and that we believe that there are false gods. Not saying your gods, I don't know anything about them, but there were false gods in Europe and different places that were actually, we believe, that were fallen angels. And Jesus, which we both agree with Jesus, that Jesus came and his way was the truth. I think you say believe in Jesus, that he is the truth. Now, if there is more about this that you're saying about the gods and goddesses, why wasn't it mentioned in the Bible? Was it corrupted or something like that? And also, you believe in Christ, and why would so many people, his disciples, die terrible deaths for something that wasn't true? People were eaten by lions, they were crucified. If it was as you believe in Christ, as a practical joke or something, they wouldn't die for it. And as I said, why was there a missing link where there's gods and goddesses? Why didn't he come? It's interesting though, Anunnaki. Thank you for this discussion is very interesting. And Miranda, you're doing amazing with this. All right, very good job. You see, this is called having a discussion without people acting. Say with some people leave and stuff, but y'all are cool people having a civilized discussion about this. It's awesome. All right. And I said Anunnaki wasn't actually mentioned in the Old Testament, if that's you're saying. And Anunnaki, for you to claim I'm making a false claims is hilarious. But you're entitled to your own opinion like I am. Year of the Lord is 1684. Which calendar is that? That's 6884. Anna, right? Year of the Lord is 6884. Anna, why are you making... we're cursing Shield up now on my posts. I think she's asking a question, and we're getting a little heated, Anunnaki. I understand, but we want to make sure that young people PG, make it PG in here. All right. And Michael says, Miranda, just let it go. And Miranda says Anunnaki, but you're saying there's an extra scrolls being added to the Bible, so there isn't. That's our opinion. Don't cuss. And I typed the wrong and corrected it. You see, and look, I'm not perfect about this, but we have to not let emotions get the best of us. And I mean, atheists would think this is, but all the other religions may not always do that. And also and when someone's angry, look, I'm not perfect. I'm the most greatest follower of this, but I'm improving. Is when we get angry, let's wait for the anger to subside to say what you're going to say. But anger can be a good motivation, but it needs to come out correctly. Anunnaki says, Nipuron calendar of the Roman Catholic Church had mine people slaughtered over 2 millions. It's actually 2 million, not 2 millions. Gregory the 14th murdered over 350 million innocent people worldwide. Would world kneel to his will? And Anunnaki, I am not as informed on that topic as you are. And I do agree that people, humans, make errors and do things that are wrong, and many evil things have been done in religion. And the greatest revenge is to not be like your enemy, to do the same thing that they did. And your people that were slaughtered, that's unfortunate that happened to them. And as I said, I don't believe that's a reflection on God or their institution. I think humans fell into error. And I will be fair that I don't know what both sides would say or what the reasons were for that, why they did that. But as I said, I think that, Christ said to shall not kill, love your neighbor as yourself. So I think a lot of people in the Catholic Church and other churches did not follow Christ's values and teachings. But as I said, I think that, God, he did many things because God is righteous and just. Human beings, according to Christianity, all right, Anunnaki. And as I said, you're always welcome here, Anunnaki, and I learn a lot from you. I'm not going to persecute you, and you're free to, be here. But if you need to go cool off, that's fine. All right? And I could be wrong, and you could be right, and I'm open to see what your position is always. All right? But I will say that and we could be wrong as Christians. Maybe it's wrong, but according to Christianity, that in Islam and Judaism and stuff, the Abrahamic religions, is that the humans, the earthlings, eating the forbidden fruit, and it's the equivalent of doing if I or somebody did some horrible evil action, and scientifically this fruit, whatever, destroyed the entire human genome, the bloodline, and it corrupted us in the act of disobedience. So God, being a righteous and just God, is all perfect and almighty, and he cannot, and there's spiritual realms that we don't have access to and maybe not completely see what is, how we see things. So for us to dwell in God's presence, we have to be completely pure and holy. And Anunnaki will proceed to tell me that he's evil for that. And I'll tell you about Egyptian mythology. So Anubis is the gatekeeper to bring people into the heavens or hell. And he weighed everything someone did in their life compared to a feather. So if it weighed more than a feather, the person would go to hell. So, and I was thinking that Jesus is a feather from the same bird. So the feather on the other scale is God. And as I said, this is a pagan religion. By our own shortcomings, the scale would get unbalanced. So God is the perfect bird, the perfect feather. And we all humans have become weighed down. We're not the same. We have a lot of weight to us. So God, being righteous and just, does not allow the impurity or the corruption into his kingdom, just like if somebody was diseased. Like, say you have a relationship with somebody, you let them into your house. And if you don't know someone, you don't have a relationship with them, you can't let them in. So in times, God was angry with the earthlings, the humans, and certain things were allowed to happen. But also remember, there is human error, in my opinion. There was human error, and Jesus came with the way that people should live and do things. But Jesus did not come to abolish the Old Testament, but to fulfill it. And also make the record straight about what the believers should do. And then God sent, according to Christianity, all right, not Islam and Judaism, that God sent Jesus to be crucified and rose again on the third day, so all humans could have an opportunity to go to heaven. And also, as you